None of the shops here are the shops that I used to know. It was always a street for shops. Shops for working class people.
Does it hurt you to come back here?
Yes, it hurts me to the heart. Because this was, although it was working class, poor, it was respectable. They tried to keep things clean. There was no sense of decay. But now, look, everything's falling to pieces. This is a good example of intercity decay. I mean, here there was a Freemasons Hall. Look at it now. Here there was a beautiful cinema called the Palace, and my father used to play the piano there for the performances. Look at it now.
There's nothing left.
Vulgarity, God knows what they show inside, probably pornographic movies, decay. And then eventually we come to this horrible patch of waste ground where I used to live. This is the horror of coming back. The poet said, never go back. But I've come back and this is what I see. I used to be there as a small boy. I used to sleep up there. My father sold tobacco there, but now there's nothing left. It's all gone. Well, these are at least the good old original industrial slums, bad plumbing, and between the blocks of houses, what we used to call entries, places where the cats roamed at night and screamed, cats' concerts, our only evening music, dustbins, sly copulation, but squalor. Why the hell did we put up with it, and why the hell is Manchester putting up with it now? This is just not worthy of man, especially Mancunian men. I was brought up in this atmosphere of hard drinking, hard fighting, and very great ugliness.
Do you agree that an unhappy childhood is a writer's goldmine? It's one of these
They
statements.
say that some of the great books of all time have been written out of unhappy childhoods, like the novels of Charles Dickens, David Copperfield, Oliver Twist, the novels of James Joyce, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. The horror of coming back. The poet said, never go back. But I've come back and this is what I see. I used to be there as a small boy. I used to sleep up there. My father sold tobacco there, but now there's nothing left. It's all gone.
Your parents, did they have much time for your education?
No, they didn't believe in education much. So there's no question of reading books or getting a literary education. Hello. And
so what happened with you?
A certain love of books. Probably one had to escape from this kind of environment by reading. Reading Treasure Island, Gulliver's Travels, escaping. And I suppose this still continues. Literature for me is a kind of escape from the real world. I want to escape from this real world. I have to escape into the past, when this place existed as a street full of living people. Look at it now, it's a street of ghosts. But here I was taught, when I was about 5 years old or 6 years old, by nuns. And I remember in particular there were two nuns. There was Mother Andrea, who was very gentle, and said if we were good children we would go to heaven. But the headmistress was Sister Ignatius. She was like a fishwife. She used to call the Hail Mary as though she was crying the price of fresh halibut. I said, you're going to hell, boy. And we believed in hell. If you eat meat on a Friday, you will go to hell. And we believed this. And to some extent, I still believe it, because the lessons you're taught at that age in this kind of school are there with you.
Were you at that time?
Oh, I was here at the age of 5 or 6, and I left about the age of 11 when I went to another school. But the great Catholic lessons were taught here at a very early age. As a child at the Billsborough Memorial School, feeling guilty about eating meat on a Friday, or being late for Mass, or missing my night prayers.
Young Wilson was educated by the Catholic Brothers at the Xaverian College in Manchester. This was where he lost his regional accent.
I remember my childhood was a matter of being frightened of hellfire, frightened of sex, frightened of sensuality generally, and this fear of life was, of course, perhaps appropriate to the climate.
Burgess was a keen reader and was fascinated by Don Quixote. He already nurtured dreams of becoming a composer. Despite his Catholic-instilled fear, the young Wilson was sexually adventurous.
The great thing was to get to heaven if you could. And of course, Manchester helped. The weather always helped. The hard work always helped. The lack of colour and gaiety always helped. Get this life over as quickly as you could and get through, if you could, possibly, with a pass degree.
At the age of 16, he lost his Catholic faith. It was an event that had a profound effect on him.